All right, hello. I want to go over tooling a little bit today, since we've talked about the models yesterday and generally like how I work over the last few weeks. Um, the tooling right now is very interesting. So there's like a few staples in my life, one of them being Ghosty. Ghosty is a terminal and a multiplexer. Um, I don't really know the specifics about like how it's built, why it's built the way it is, but it's just very great at like allowing you to split between different, so you could just like make and kill terminals like very easily with like a few commands. It lets you do this multiplexing, lets you use Windows, and it's very convenient for navigation. I use this a lot for agentic tasks that are not related to code bases. So, for example, here I have a model that's running a pod for me to do a quantization of another model. So, over here I have like a conversation around debugging. Here I have a bot that's being set up. Here I have like some debugging on something that isn't a UI, and you could see that I jump between these constantly, and I ask questions that are very basic. Like, for example, I want to know how much it costs to have a VS Code like experience outside of VS Code because it's just not a good editor. Z is nice, which I've been using a lot lately, so you can see me using Z here. But the problem with, I mean, Z is like pretty young as a tool, and it has its flaws, and also it doesn't have as robust of a extension system, which I tend to use a lot of extensions. But we can talk a little bit about Z as well. So with Z, it is a very convenient editor. They have like a nice AI feature, but I typically tend to use my terminal the most, and I use the harness that I'm working with, whatever it is for that day. So for example, I'm running, well, this is the flickering issue. I'm running Droid here with GLM. I am running Pi here with GPT, and yeah. Now I want to go over a little bit of. Let me see this. So yeah, this is an issue. And how do I use these tools? So like, why exactly am I using these tools specifically? I've tried all of them. I've tried VS Code. I've tried. Um, one second. I want to send this over to the model. The UI here is broken. It's spilling out. I would typically do this with the voice recording, but since, yeah, I'm speaking here right now. So you could see I am working as well with a lot of code. So these are UIs for the chats. So this is the one that I've been building for myself called vllm-studio. It's much better here. But yeah, these are the UIs that I am building myself. And you could see around like what I like to prioritize, which is easy access to storage, usage metrics, which are very important. So like how many tokens am I using, where, on what, why. I do this also over here. As you can see, I have my codex usage, Claude usage, ZAI. And this is something that I prioritize, is like knowledge on my usage of these tools because of the costs. The costs can become overwhelming. Right now, I'm paying about $500 to $600 a month on these tools. I pay for a max subscription of Claude, a max subscription of GPT, Minimax, GLM. I pay a lot in open router fees, and it's definitely well worth it for me, but it's good to know where I'm spending my money and how much, uh, yeah, like what models also am I using the most? So this is another important thing because if you focus on a single model, you will have a bad time. Like I want to give an example here for a model that everybody really likes. I mean, I also like it as well. Let's see if this issue has been fixed as the model is claiming. So I am going to take this and then I'm going to message it again. And let's see. Yeah. So it takes me to the chat and then it allows me to message. Okay. So great. So you can see it's thinking blocks. Still needs to be improved. I'm trying to go after the GPT style. I really like this style. It's less constrained. I also like the Claude style, to be honest. So Claude is very clean. I like the artifact section. Having things separated, like the text, conversations, communication, and like the outputs is very good because then it's easier to like navigate between what you are doing and versions of that. And then you can actually nitpick the specifics on what's happening. So we could see here, like, this is typically my usage pattern. I'm using GLM. I'm using Claude, I'm using GPT. They all have their pros and cons. So going back to our conversation earlier, it's great, but we are not blocking the submit button, nor are we displaying in the main chat that the model is working. I'd like a little bit of a, let's say, animated thing to represent model being busy. And then we can jump into the code a little bit. So let us go in here and you can see, well, like 3. What is this 3? Yeah, so I want to take a picture of this and mention that this is broken. So let's go, and do this. This is broken. Our chat broke. When is our last stable commit? And how can we go back to stability? Now, in regards to tooling, going back to tooling, there are a ton of tools in this space right now that are very useful. I would say Opencode is one of the top 3 for sure. The reason I say that is Opencode has all of the essential building blocks to create a automation system, not just like a code editing experience or like a single agent doing things for you experience. It allows you to compose multiple models together with their own unique profiles and skills and all that, like prompts, in a pipeline. And if you can do that, what you could accomplish is creating a system that essentially keeps itself moving forward. This is a good demonstration. It's pretty basic, but it's like a step 1 that we have. So this is a chat that I started. I want you to deep research this repository. I want to get a sense of like how much it can read and then output and how many tokens. If we try to use sub-agents and then what I would call workers, which is my own like taste to this. So you can see here, I basically ask it a question. Now it'll launch and then it's going to take steps. And in the steps, we have these delegate calls. So delegate is something that I added in specifically, which is another demonstration of why Opencode is great. You can add in your own tool calls, you can add in your own stuff, and you can build your own features, and it's very hackable. But delegate, you can create a background agent. So this background agent stays on a port, it stays active, and you can give it essentially context, and then it could learn that context, and then you can have chats with it from different models. So imagine instead of having like a sub-agent that reads a documentation page, you instead launch a documentation background process. It reads like 5 different documentation sites, and then it exposes an API, and then your main agent can call it, your coding agents can call it, and then you don't have to keep constructing context. So this is a very important thing. How can you get the context just right, like perfect? And I think sessions with background agents are very important for this. So if you can have a background agent running on an open port and you can construct its context perfectly, and then you can have sessions that are forks of the original construct, now you can have like the perfect AI SDK docs, right? Anytime that any builder is going to do AI SDK builds, it can then refer back to that agent and communicate with it. Creating to-do lists, and then it spawns these agents. So this is essentially what I'm trying to accomplish here. Yep, there you go. So I spawn a sub-agent. The sub-agent actually goes and does the reading of the context and then does some querying to understand what's going on. And you can see this is a very smooth experience. So Opencode, I would say, is the #1 top yeah, the number one top tool in this space. I could use just Opencode and be fine. Next, I would say is Pi. So with Pi, it allows you to use GPT codecs. And I need to get off of that. Okay, so it lets you use GPT codecs. GPT 5.2 codecs, and it lets you do two things. We have steering mode. Let's see, settings. We have steering mode and we have follow-up mode. So what you can do here, you need to ensure to make it more stable. Please figure it out. Don't waste time. And so this is essentially me just trying to get the model to keep working because I know like essentially what the pattern of bugs are, but I just want to get this moving. And so I can send this, and then I can also do something like this. I want you to review the root cause of the issue and fix it if you haven't yet. And I can hit Control and Enter. Provider's not configured. What the hell? Oh, that's okay. Well, that sucks. Great. Control and Enter. I don't like that. So that's a shortcut by Zed, and I've used this mainly in other workflows. But let me just copy this, and I can demonstrate it in another way. So settings and then steering mode. So instead of on, I have steering mode one at a time. So I can send this and it sits in a queue, and then the model is able to respond to it whenever it wants. But given that they give you both a queue mode and the steering mode, what you can do is turn the queue mode into one at a time and the steering mode into all. So essentially with the queue mode, if you send it with Control Enter, it'll put it in a queue and the model will finish its turn. So all of the tool calls it was going to do, all of the things it was going to do, it'll just do them. Without stopping. Then when it's done, it believes it's done, it receives the next message. And this allows you to chain calls, and so you can keep the model running for a very long period of time. It's also very clean of a UI. It has the forking of sessions, the session trees, and you would not believe how useful this is. You can see this is a 1.7 million token conversation in one day, right? And Codex is a very good model in that once it figures out the context window that it's working with, like it has all of the files and it knows what it's supposed to do, it doesn't have to keep going and reading files. It actually starts editing. Unlike Claude, which is a very how do I say this? Claude is like just a very sloppy worker. It just kind of wants to get the task done. It's great at getting the task done, but when you start digging into the actual code implementations, we can go over that right now. You can see that it's absolute trash. It's just not good. I will pull this up here and then we can try to demonstrate why I've refactored a lot of this. So it might be difficult to demonstrate. Yeah, I have refactored most of this today. But I can go to GitHub actually and demonstrate this in the chat page, and then you guys can take a look and see how what Codex was able to do with it in 2 hours. So we are going to go here, here, and Orchestra. No, not this one. Sorry, vllm-studio. And we want to go to the front end source. This is very long. App chat page.tsx. So this is the code. This is like the main branch that Opus was just slamming changes to. You can see how it's managing state in just like the stupidest way possible. I was originally a TypeScript React developer for the beginning of my career, and then I transitioned more into like a backend role, and now I mainly use these LLMs. But the point is, you can see this is just bad practice. It's creating a bunch of state. A lot of it is duplicated. A lot of it is not being used. A lot of the imports are not being used. It leaves a lot of like these comments that are not necessarily helpful or useful. And then this is the actual crime. This is horrible. This is atrocious. I think there's like 10 to 15 use effect hooks here. And we really do not need that many use effect hooks. Maybe one, right? And even then, you probably should not have a use effect hook in your code base. It's just not good. And so you can see here now that the Codex model was able to reduce this significantly. So it created a store, it typed all the store, and then it just imports these from the store, which are all slices, and it is much cleaner code. It's using a lot of references, it's using a lot of context management, and I don't know if there's any use effects. I'm going to check. So there are still a few, but I think it's like at least 5 to 8 less within a few hours of it coding and cleaning up and doing things. Root cause when navigating current session was still null until load session finished, so message created a session with mixed message titles. That also kept sidebar title stuck at new message. Fix applied, send message now refers to the, okay, let's see if the fix was actually applied and if it actually works. Another thing that you have to learn is that these things lie, or like maybe not lie. Lie is not the right word. These things are built to satisfy you. They want to answer your question in a way that you perceive to be satisfactory, and that is not good, because if you don't question what it's saying, it's most likely going to have been lying to you. Now it's actually working properly. Now it's working properly. Is it actually thinking? It is. It is. Okay, that's good. So it's fixed a lot of it. I want it now to commit and push this. Please commit and push this. Fixed the problem. Once you push, then you can continue fixing the UI. So one, we need all the chats to be titled. 2, we need to make sure that we only show contents in the chat page. Reasoning content stays in the sidebar, and each reasoning block will render in between tool calls as its own independent entity. So going back, this is essentially what I used for the majority of the day. It's these models, so this is all wrong. So it's just not saving them all one at a time. But these are the tools that I use mainly. I also use a lot of the browser automation tools. So this is the Claude extension. I think that is an incredibly important piece of technology that most people don't know how to use yet. I use it for things like scraping. I use it for paying taxes. I use it for reporting. I use it for creating all these AWS keys. I think it's an extremely important field to look into. Is like, how much can you automate with your browser? How much can you automate on your device? And then how much can you automate within your code editor? And I would say ClaudeBot is one of the tools that I would recommend everybody try. ClaudeBot is made by this guy, Peter Steinberg, I believe. And he has a code base that you can implement with any LLM and any UI. And then you can interact with like these LLMs from Discord, from Telegram, which I also do very extensively. Hopefully this was helpful. I'll keep uploading videos like this 4 or 5 days a week. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.